Hello, Eva, and welcome back to Ava Talks.
Hi, Alina. Nice to see you.
We were discussing in some of our previous conversations about the need for authenticity and the need to express our own inner true selves. I would invite you, if you agree, to have today a conversation about how we can express our true authenticity and how expressing our true nature can make a difference for ourselves and for everyone else.
Hmm. Yeah, it's to me a really important topic. I've been actually introduced by Ben and Jock, who were the founders of the Haven Institute in Canada, one of the institutes on Gabriola Island, where I did a lot of my education in the Satir Model with Dr. Maria Gamori. And they actually have a model, kind of like an identity model, that is describing a triangle between your kind of like your authentic self, the self that you're born with, that is kind of like your unique spirit, kind of your fingerprint that's unique to each person. Then the idea of there, you may create like a perfect self, like an idealized self. And that is usually mirrored back by other people, how they are explicit or implicit sending messages to say, I like you to be like this, and then that's good. So this idea where I create my idealist self by saying, if I am this, I will measure up, I will fit in, I will be loved, I will be accepted. And then the other part of the triangle is, here's the actual self, the one that I'm really embodying in a moment in time. And a lot of my teachings actually have this idea of harmonizing and bringing together into a fitting relationship, that the idealized self becomes more of a, I want to say, more of a potential towards the future, how I can best express my authentic self in a way that allows me also to bring my contribution and to grow as much as possible, so that the idealized self doesn't become a curse to never measure up, but really something I can grow into, and have the actual self, which I would call all the different strengths and competencies and different things I learn along the way, that become my competencies, and that I can use in different times. And part of it is your ego, that knows how to be strong in certain moments, or that knows how to survive a certain way, that knows how to create connection with other people, but just all the different skills that I learned in my growing up. And some of them are made out of necessity, and some of them are made out of a very inner, congruent and authentic sense of self. And so a lot of times I have this triangle in the back of my mind, and sensing, where is somebody in their life, and how are they experiencing certain struggles, maybe sometimes, so that the idea is of bringing the idealized self in connection to the actual self, that is in alignment to our authentic self, so that all of those three aspects are in a set of harmony. I do believe that we all come, and the African tradition has actually developed this idea where some traditions are saying a spirit is choosing a time, a family, and a body to descend in a specific moment, in a specific place, to bring their gift, to bring whatever unique blessings they have. And so that would mean every person comes with a unique fingerprint and brings a blessing. And I think part of the idea is, how do we express what is our authentic self in a moment in time, no matter what we do? I'm not saying that we're all creating the next medicine to heal cancer, and that's the way how we bring our gifts. It's more about what is the inner attitude, how you do what you do with your greatest intention. That could be making coffee with all your heart and all your spirit and all your love, and the way you bring all of that to the little things that you do and give it to somebody else. It's making somebody else's day because it's the best coffee you drink in this moment, or something like that.
Yeah, now hearing you sharing all these things, a quote came to my mind that was in the Oracle of Delphi, that was stating, know yourself. So in order to be able to express yourself, your authentic self, first you need to know yourself. And that's a process that can also be facilitated by the very interesting model that you shared, that triangle with the three manifestations of the self that a person can experience. And I would ask you, how can a person, a individual, um, get to know himself or herself better?
Well, I think sometimes it's nice to be informed by where I'm coming from. You know, when I work with families or when I work with an individual, and they're coming to me by saying, I would like to um, achieve a certain goal, or I would like to really find peace within myself. I really would like to have a validating relationship to myself. I would say, great, I'm not stopping you. Why are you not doing that? And it's a little bit of a playful, provocative way of mirroring back. So there's something you know you want. You would like to accept yourself more, or you would like to validate yourself more, or maybe being really happy about a certain accomplishment. But the reality is, you can't really enjoy the fruits of your hard work or something like that. And you become aware of it. And then the interesting question is, so you know what you want, but you're not getting there. So what is in the way? And usually in the tradition that I work is, we think there's probably something that you learned either way through a direct experience or through some messages of people who were really important of you in your past growing up, that are hindering you today to actually fully accept and fully connect and fully love yourself. You're still waiting maybe for some blessing, for some permission, for somebody telling you, I really validate you, I really appreciate you. And through that message, allowing yourself to really appreciate yourself. So I see it, something I want, there's something in the way. If that's the case today, and you're already grown up, then usually it's past experiences that are coming into to interfere to actually getting where I want to go. So getting to know myself usually helps when I look deeply into the way I grew up. You know, I usually invite people to clients to do a 3-generational family map where we gather information from the family, you know, when the grandparents grew up, the date of birth, the date of the marriage of the grandparents, maybe if there's somebody died, that date. Then we're also gathering relationship aspects, qualities of relationships, then different coping mechanisms. How did they learn to survive? What did they learn to do? And also aspects of what were the deepest values in my family? What were my family rules? What did we have always or never? What were the family rules that we were ruled by? We gather a lot of different information about the growing up, because that gives you a lot of information about who you have become, being informed by all these different frames of we expect you to do certain things so that you fit into this family. And that will allow me to also look at the tension. Does whatever I learned here fit for me? Does it make my spirit shine and happy and vibrant? And what I usually tell my client is, when you look at all these informations, what are the things that are really supporting and nurturing you, where you feel I feel a strong connection to myself, and which ones I feel that you're struggling with. You're trying to still please other people, to fit into certain rules, but they're actually taking away your energy. You're actually moving away from yourself. How do you know that? It usually is when you do certain things and you have certain thoughts coming into your mind. Do you feel more energized? Do you feel more connected in your body? Or do you feel depleted, drained, maybe low energy, and kind of a sense, oh, I never get there? Anything that brings you to a place of being more vibrant and connected and feeling more alive in whatever you do or whatever you think in this moment, that is an information of it's nurturing my authentic self. More of that. Anything that takes you away from yourself, that brings more exhaustion or lack of energy, that is usually an informational piece. I'm moving away from my authentic self. I'm trying to please other people. Same true if I feel more tension. Whatever brings a lot of tension in the body is usually an information that it's informed by the past, and I'm trying either way to hold a conflict in me. I want this, but something else happens. Or I'm trying to live by other people's ideas and expectations. Anything that brings more flow in my body, where I feel pretty centered, connected, balanced, vibrant, grounded, more to myself. So I think a lot of it is also gathering information, like where did I come from? But some of it is also testing and test and error, how your energy level feels. Sometimes I ask people 0 to 10, where's your energy level? How much do you feel connected to yourself from 0 to 10? And then have them check if it maybe is 5. While we're having a conversation, something happens that your energy level rises, let me know that it changed. And then we could unpack information. What did we talk about? What did we do? What happened there that allowed you to go from 5 to 6 or 7? And how did that happen? Because then I can more and more detect what gives me more connection to my inner authentic self.
So that's actually a practice for increasing awareness and getting into a deeper connection with one's true self. And when we are connected with our true selves, um, how relevant is it for us and for everybody else to express that with others? What do you think? Is it important?
I think it's totally important. To me, there are two ways of suffering. I think suffering comes from unattended wounds, unattended pain. When something happened that you experienced a hurt or a pain, and you haven't attended to that, you're not willing to heal the times when things that happened in your life that shouldn't have happened, that were deeply wounding, and you just don't attend to that to me creates continuous suffering, because I'm acting as if nothing ever happened. The other thing is, if I withhold my blessing, if I'm not sharing my unique spirit with the world, and I'm holding it down, and I'm trying to maybe live by other people's expectations or ideas about myself. Let's say my parents have this idea that everybody in the family is a lawyer, so I'm obeying my family and I become a lawyer. But inside of myself is a musician. I'm a musician. That's my soul connection. I have this gift to play music, to nurture that creativity. If I am withholding that gift from the world and from myself, suppress it and don't share it, and I'm just exercising being a lawyer, and I am bored by being a lawyer. Maybe it brings steady income, but I am bored by doing that. But I feel I have to do it to fulfill the family expectation. That will create suffering, because there's a musician inside of me that I'm not giving the full permission to be expressed. I'm not saying everybody who has this music talent has to become a professional musician. But what I'm saying is, maybe there is a harmony between I am a lawyer by profession, and that's the way how I am making financial, create financial safety. And I am equally giving space to this musician inside of me, and maybe I have a band and I create times where I can fully bring that to the world. And maybe there's even a way how I can play music in as a lawyer, metaphorically speaking, how I bring that creativity of knowing how to play music in a certain way and bring that into the way of how I'm working as a lawyer. That would be probably a recommendation from me. How do you nurture the lawyer by the musician? How can they become friends and partner and inform each other? But if I hold my blessing all the way down and say I can't ever experience that, then I think that's creating pain. I try to do that myself. I'm trained as a dancer, and I had a scholarship for Chicago, but my family said, you become a banker, and I did. I suppressed my dancer, and I disconnected from dance in my 20s because I couldn't reconcile those two. And it created tremendous suffering in my body. And it took me quite some time to realize there are many ways to become a dancer. It's not becoming a ballerina professional on the, in a company, in a dance company. That's the only way. No, it's not the only way. There's a way to use movement and dance and nurturing the dancer maybe in other activities, that that gift that I have can become part of who I am also as an educator who I am today. And I think there are many ways to bring our gift, our special contribution to the outside world. But I have to know it in order to then claim it for myself and then allow it to be shown on the outside that will actually um, bring it into a shape and form that best honors me today with all of my learnings.
After hearing what you have just shared, I was starting to imagine how would a world be where every individual, every one of us will get to share their gifts rather than fit into cubicles and match certain expectations. So if we would be educated somehow to first get to know ourselves and our gifts, and then share it in the most um, exquisite way we can with the world, then maybe the world would be much different than today.
Yeah, I very much agree. You know, to me, if we allow to heal by feeling what's real, I heard a beautiful Dr. Edith Eger say, we only heal when we feel. So I think one of the elements is, you know, nobody gets by without being hurt at some point. So we all get hurt. And if we created a world that gives permission to create opportunities to authentically heal and feel what needs to be healed, because there's always some pain, and to take time to do that, and at the same time share our uniqueness, our blessings, our gifts, and everybody comes with one. It's not just for some people that have gigantic talents in artistic or in scientific ways. Everybody comes with some specialty, the way they do it. And when I talk about gifts or talents, I'm really talking about everybody has their own fingerprint in the way how they're showing up in the world. And if we give everybody a permission to do that, then to me that would be a world where we all have a place, because there's not as much comparison, where we also don't have to be feeding our hungry ghosts that feel empty by not being able to fully live from the inside out who we are on the deepest level. We're you know, we created such a world that is empty, that is longing, that is hungry. The Buddhists call them the hungry ghosts that are having big bellies. And so our consumerism has created big hungry ghosts that are filling the void, the emptiness from the outside, to not feel the pain. But if we would allow ourselves to really attend to what we inside of ourselves carry all along from birth, and return back to that space of our own inner treasure and say, that's me. If you look at kids, they know it. If you look at little kids, they show themselves and they parade and they do their peacock and say, look at me, that's me. And they have no hesitation to show themselves like that, to return back to that. That would be a really nice growth for me too. Yes.
Thank you.